whatever time of day it is for you. This is Karen. I'm coming to you from Salt and Tan Studios. It is 0 degrees here in Warren, Vermont. How can I forget Vermont? Maybe because I'm so cold. But today, our focus is on who is this for? There could be a lot behind that, right? What motivates you to come to your mat, to have a practice? And there can be a lot of emotions tied into that. There can be pride, there can be ego, which I guess is similar. There can be aspiration, there can be working on certain things, whether that's in your body, in your heart, mind, or your breath. It could be 100% for yourself, for self care. It could be for yourself and others. And typically, even if we feel like it's just for others, it's a merit to others due to how we care for ourselves. So a little spiel there. So today we're going to do a little bit of stretching, and then we're going to work on a Tonglen meditation, and then we'll move into the full practice. That is to open ourselves up slightly for meditation. The Tonglen can help us think about who we might dedicate our practice to, and or to whom we might dedicate our practice. And then, of course, opening the body further and getting a little breath going. So I'm starting in a kneeling position. If you need something under your knees, feel free. If you need something behind your knees, feel free. I want to start to open up the hip flexors and the quads. So I'm going to go ahead and tuck my toes under. And I'm simply going to lean back from the knees, holding the belly strong to open up the thighs and the hip flexors. If you'd like, and if it works, you can bring your hands to your heels, send your pelvis forward. Stretch that low back. Come forward. Untuck your toes. Bring your arms out. Lock them into your shoulders. And again, lean back. It's like doing a push-up in a weird sort of way, and opening up here. And then we come forward. If you have blocks, you could take them and put your hands on your blocks. We're going to go ahead and just lean back one more time and breathe for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Rise up, arms overhead. Take them in a circle, out, down and up, out, down and up, out, down and up, and then we go the other way, out, up, and down, out, up, and down. Movement of the arms brings blood flow into the larger muscles, which warms you up. Arms up overhead, press the palms together, bend your elbows, and bring the hands to the nape of the neck or behind your shoulders. Go ahead and interlace your fingers, spread the elbows wide, and draw the hands toward your right shoulder. So make this sort of arrow shape or bow shape. We're going to tilt over to the right. Take the left hand, cup it around the back of your neck, maybe to your ear, and reach your right hand down. We'll rise back up, interlace the fingers, bring them behind the neck, and then bring the palms over toward the left shoulder, making that bow and arrow shape, and then we tilt, breathing. Cup the head with your right hand and reach your left hand out and down. Beautiful. Come back up. This time we'll sit on our heels, and again, if you need something to soften the bend in the knees, you might bring a pillow or something behind your knees. I'm going to take some seated cat-cows. I'm already warmed up enough that I'm taking off my outer layer here. So seated cat-cows, really taking your time. What we're doing here is finding all the movements of the spine. From down on the mat. And now a twist. Gentle twist over toward the right. Right arm is behind you. It doesn't have to Fingers don't have to touch anything. But if they happen to touch your feet, that's fine. Turn your head a little more to the right. Turn your eyeballs way to the right. Draw the tailbone forward, belly in. Shoulders away from your ears. And then we turn the other way. Head turns a little more. Eyeballs follow that same route. And we come front and center. Grab your cushion or whatever you like to be seated on to make for a comfortable meditative posture. If you prefer to bring the soles of the feet together, feel free. If you need props under your knees, feel free. Roll your neck. Take it in the other direction. I don't know what time it is where you are or when you're practicing, but for me, it's a Saturday and it's not that early in the morning, but I woke up at 8 and it is now just around 9:35. Drop your chin. Lift your chin parallel to the earth. Drop your hands to the ground and then shrug the shoulders up to the ears. Breath in. Send them behind you and drop them. Again. And again. Once more, a back bend. Hands come behind you. The fingers point toward you. Tilt the pelvis forward. Lengthen the torso. Squeeze those shoulder blades together. And lift, lift, lift the heart like there's this line of golden energy rushing from your heart to color a star, to brighten it, to purify it. And we sit up nice and tall. Sweep our arms in front of us. Walk the hands forward as far as we can. Nice long spine. We pause at the edge because there's a little bit more. Breathe in. Reach your heart. Draw the belly in and fold. The hands walk back all the way behind you. Again, shift onto your sacrum. Lift the legs and switch the cross or the orientation of the legs. And we take the same thing. Hands forward, crawl forward, go as far as you can, and then we'll find another little millimeter forward. Inhale. Exhale, stretch, drop your head. Hands walk back. We sit into our upright position, preparing the hands. We've already prepared the body for some meditation. So if you like a full meditative posture, the back of the right hand rests in the palm of the left and the thumb pads touch. If you prefer need something sturdier for your core, you might place your hands on your thighs or on blocks. Tonglen is sort of the next step from loving kindness, from metta. Tonglen is a receiving, a cleansing, and a giving back. So in Tonglen, we consider someone, you might call it your round table. We consider several individuals from those who love us unconditionally to someone we have maybe had an altercation with or disagree very seriously with. We might know them or not. And then to ourselves. So there's like 5 along the way of the meditation. So we're going to go ahead and take that. First step is 3 cleansing breaths. Last one. Now breathe naturally, effortlessly, and consider a being that loves you unconditionally. Picture them in front of you, maybe just their face. You don't have to necessarily picture the body, whether they're standing or seated, doesn't matter. And look into their eyes and know that they want exactly what you want, which is joy, contentment, kindness, happiness. But note that also, like you, they are experiencing difficulty in pursuing that, hardships, difficulty with their own emotions and responses, difficulty with the factors of their lives. So as you breathe in, you're breathing in their breath and the things that are not working for them. And you have such power as a human being with this beautiful heart to cleanse that breath. And as you breathe out, maybe a white breath of air enters their body. Could be a color, could not. So we breathe in, taking in that individual's hurt and worry and concern. And we breathe out loving kindness. Now picture a being in front of you who has your best interest in mind. They might not always show it. And breathe in their worries, their burdens, their hurts, their difficulties. Cleanse it and breathe out loving kindness. Imagine now a being in front of you that you don't know very well, or if at all. Maybe you just see them in the grocery store. Maybe it's someone's puppy that they walk when you take your walk in the morning. Maybe it's a neighbor enough to say hello to, but that's about it. Breathe in their hurt, their pursuit of happiness, their difficulties, their burdens, and exhale back to them a cleansed breath of love and kindness. In front of you now is a being to whom you might have aversion. Perhaps they've angered you, you've had an argument, maybe they're someone in a socio-political role, maybe it's a next door neighbor, perhaps it's an animal that makes you afraid. Breathe in the hurt, the burden, the sorrow. Breathe out love and kindness. If you find you've selected a being that's too difficult to do that for, feel free to switch. Imagine yourself sitting in front of you. Maybe it's a younger self, the self of the present day, or the self of the future. Knowing that you yourself pursue compassion and happiness and have had difficulties and burdens and worries and concerns in your life, maybe health issues, perhaps sadness or depression. Face yourself, look into your eyes, breathe in all of that negative emotion and experience. Breathe out love and kindness. Drop your hands by your side, sweep them out and up over your head. Press them together there. Maybe the gaze, even if it's inward, moves upward. On an exhale, the hands draw to your heart. Consider now to whom you'd like to dedicate your practice. It might be one of those people in the round table or beings. It doesn't have to be a person, or maybe it's someone else. Someone who perhaps can't move around as well as you do, or maybe has arthritis in part of their body. Someone who deserves loving kindness. Let's go ahead and find our way into a child's pose with that person in mind. Thank you for joining me in that. It's not the usual 50 minutes of moving around. Forehead on the ground, sitting bones toward your heels, arms nice and long, so you start to feel the stretch in the shoulders and under the armpits. We're going to take that a little further by bringing the palms together with the pinkies on the ground, bending the elbows so the fingers come to the nape of the neck or between the shoulder blades, and then one at a time, without lifting your bottom, move your elbows forward till they can't go forward anymore. We're adding a little rib cage opening to this, stretching the spine, getting under the arms, maybe the triceps, maybe between the shoulder blades, and in the traps. The palms now draw to the ground, and we lift up the elbows a little bit so we come to the tops of the fingers. On an inhale, stay here. As you exhale, crab walk the hands to the right. They might come all the way off the mat. Maybe the left hand rests on the back of the right. Stretching that left side body even further, feeling it all the way into the pinky finger and all the way down to the hip crease. On an inhale, hands crawl to the center. Exhale, they crawl to the other side. Hands walk to the center. We find our way into a tabletop. And the body might be calling for some movement, so allow it to guide you. I'm moving into hip circles. You might find cat and cow is right for you in this moment. We're going to shoot that right leg out to the right and press the whole foot to the ground. Bring your left hand back toward your left knee and then sweep open with the right arm. Press your pelvis forward. Press a lot of energy into the right edge of the right foot. And slowly we're going to come up and tilt, not at windmills, but over toward the right with the left arm up. Maybe a little gaze upward. I'm going to find a little more length, opening up the inner thigh. Press a lot into the shoelace side of the back foot. See if you can find all four corners of the right foot. We're going to come back into a three-legged tabletop, hands down. Right leg sweeps up and back. Draw your knee toward your nose. Inhale, extend. Let's add a power up balance. Left arm in front, knee to elbow. Extend. Left arm stays outward and the right knee comes toward the right elbow. Woo! Extend. Left hand down. Look over the left shoulder. Sweep your right foot above your left calf as far away from you as you can. The top of the right foot comes to the ground, and then we glide it away from us. So the front of the right hip comes toward the heel. You might draw into your forearms, bring them back. This is not a pigeon, but it is an amazing glute opener. If you feel you have more space to work with, right toes tuck under so you can float your right knee off the mat. Send the heel away from you. We draw into our three-legged tabletop. Bend that right knee and flatten the foot like you're stepping on the sky. You can either pump that knee up and down or reach around with the left hand to take a hold of your pant leg, ankle, or foot and find your quad stretch that way. You're reaching your heart forward and up. And arm and leg long, knee to the mat. A little interstitial, whatever you need to do. Pull up your trousers like me, grab a drink of water, find some hip circles or hula hoop shapes. And we return. Left leg shoots out to the left as far as you can. Find all four corners of that foot. Walk your right hand back to your right knee and then float your left arm up. You might find a little tilt over toward the right, but really press into all four corners of that left foot. And maybe the left foot can come out even more. Nice snap of the hips there. And then we lift up, windmilling the left hand down, the right arm high, and tilt over to the left. Again, chest high, gaze high if you can, and find all four corners of that left foot. The right hand will come down and the left hand meets it. The left leg sweeps up and behind, knee to nose. Inhale, extend out. Right arm floats, knee to elbow. Inhale, extend. Keep that length and that balance. Draw the left knee toward the left tricep. Woo! Take it back out. Right hand down, look over the right shoulder. Left leg sweeps all the way above the right calf as far as you can take it. Shoelace side on the ground, and then we glide back to the front of the left hip and as close to the right heel as you can get it. If you don't feel much in your right glutes, tuck the left toes under, lift the knee, reach the heel backward. We rise back to the three-legged tabletop. Bend that left knee, foot flat, like you're stepping on the clouds, like you mean it, making a dent. And you can pump that leg up and down or reach around with the right hand to take a hold of the pant leg, the ankle, or the foot to find your quad stretch. You need to lift the knee away from the ground in order to feel the quad stretching. And we're going to drop that foot, cats and cows, child's pose, or hula hoop movement. Anything the body is asking for. I'm finding a little twist. Then we're going to prepare for our standing sequence. Maybe you want to dedicate this sequence to someone in your life, some being that has trouble walking or balancing. But you can choose to maintain the dedication you had at the beginning or do something else. We're going to move into a high squat. Left foot outside the left hand at the edge of your mat. Right foot outside the right hand. If you need your feet to get there, go ahead and do it. We're not moving into malasana, but we're bending the knees, bringing the forearms to the thighs, and interlacing the fingers. Now we take cat-cows here. Straighten the spine. Bring the hands inside the thighs, and this time the thumbs point toward your body. We're going to extend the left arm and then take a look over to the right, tipping, tilting, dipping a little bit. Dipping, that's the one. We're going to rise up a little, straighten the right arm, bend the left, tilt, tip, dip to the left, and look to the left. And again, both arms straighten, bend the right, dip to the right. Rise up, bend the left, dip to the left. Rise up to the middle. Bring your feet just a teeny bit closer together and find a forward fold. Halfway lift, strong belly. Feet are a little wider than normal. I don't know what your normal is, but normal for yoga posture standing. Exhale, forward fold. We're going to work a little bit on our IT bands in a moment after we roll all the way to standing. Finding a wide leg mountain pose. Talking to my physical therapist the other day about feet. I know one physical therapist who says there's a glute, I can't think of the word, pandemic, if you will. She used a softer word, and that people's glutes are not strong. And this physical therapist said, we have trouble with our feet and balance because we're not using all four corners of the feet. So I'm going to ask you to go ahead and press the toes into the ground. You might look down, make sure your feet are parallel and even, and see if you can press down on all your toes and then press down on your heel without curling the toes under. Let the arms raise all the way up in front. We soften the knees. We find a swan dive. Once you're down, fingers down on something. So grab a pillow if they're not. Unbend both knees as much as possible. And then rebend just the right knee. The left knee. Straighten out the right. Left fingertips under your nose. And then we take a sweep sort of halfway up and then twist toward the right. Your heel of your right hand can come to your low back if need be. If you do not feel this in your right IT band, really press the heel and the outer edge of that foot to the ground, or lengthen your left leg, and twist from the navel, not the shoulder. Exhale, right hand down, unbend your knees, bend your right knee, float your left arm, halfway lift into the sky. The left hand down, bring your feet bony hips width distance, which is more narrow or narrower than most people think. Soften your knees, float all the way to stand. Arms will lift overhead. Take a little grasp of the left arm, give it a tug. Get super tall. Don't pretend you know where we're going, even though you know where we're going. We're going to tilt over to the right. And check out the feet. If you come onto the outer edges of the feet, press the big toe downward, but now bring all of the toes and all four corners of the sole of the foot to the mat. Or three corners, depends on how you picture it. or however your heel is. We're going to rise up. We're going to swap our grip. We're not going right into the tilt. We're going to give a little tug, feel the feet, and tilt over to the left. Rise, hands overhead, Samasthihi, hands to your heart. Shift onto the balls of your feet. Feel your toes. If you fall out, just come back in. See if you can press the toes evenly into the mat. Not that easy to do. And then we drop to the heels, lift the toes up. Spread them nice and wide. And starting with the baby toes, one at a time, bring the toes back to the mat. You might find it very difficult to do it one at a time. Just do your best until you're pressing all four corners of the feet to the mat. Now see if you can press the four corners of the feet to the mat and feel your inner arches lift a little bit. I have to work my outer glutes for that. Rise back up to the balls of the feet, working strength in the ankles, balance, being kind to the feet, and we shift back to the heels. All parts of the feet to the earth. We'll take the arms nice and wide, cactus shape. We're going to scoot the elbows together, then zip up the arms all the way to the fingertips, elbows lift. Press, press, press here. Bend your knees a tiny bit like you're resting the backs of your thighs on a bar stool. We're going to scoop the belly in, bring the ribs toward the hips, and draw the elbows in. A big ta-da! Coming back into your goalpost. And we take that again, elbows together, zip it all up to the fingertips, lift the elbows, little bend in the knees, pelvis tilts forward, and scoop that belly in, really squeeze the lower ribs to the hips and the elbows to the navel, drop your head. We'll take that one more time, ta-da! And elbows forward, zip up, lift, knees, pelvis, scoop. Open up that real estate between your shoulder blades. Beautiful. Inhale, rise up. Drop your hands behind you. Interlace or hook your fingers or just stack your hands. And we're going to work on opening up the heart. You might find a little rocking feels good here. It's a big part of my family behavior, musical. And then we're going to bend our knees into a chair pose, keeping our bind. And again, we're going to rise up to the tiptoes. You're going to be going, what the heck? Sink down a little bit. Bring your heels down. Keep your bind forward, fold over your legs, and the hands might float from the spine. They might not. Nod your head. Shake your head. Exhale, hands to the ground. Halfway lift. And a forward fold. We step back into our high plank. If you can, a low plank into your back bend and into a child's for a little breather. And I did say little, so we're coming back up, finding our way into downward dog. Tuck your toes, press the hips high, let the hands be wide, make a little real estate between the feet. You might play around with the orientation of the feet, bending into the knees and the like. Rise up to the tiptoes, and on the tiptoes, walk to your hands. It's all about the feet today, isn't it? A forward fold. Find a bind that you like. Maybe yogi toe lock. Maybe ragdoll. I'm going to place my hands behind my calves. I'll take a little lift. Shoulders back, draw the belly in, and fold. Nod the head, shake the head, open, close the mouth. Waggle your eyebrows. Hands down. Softly rise to stand, arms overhead. We'll take a little twist, left arm forward, right arm back, so you can keep your hips square to the front of your mat. Little back bend, right hand drops to your low back or your left glutes or thigh, and we take a twisty back bend. Back to your twist, arms straight out, front and back. Right arm comes forward, lock it into your shoulders. Left arm sweeps back, twisting the other way. Left hand down, low back, right glute or right thigh, and lift the right arm. Arms straight forward and back, arms in front of you. Inhale the arms overhead, and exhale, soften your knees, forward fold. A halfway lift. And a forward fold. The left foot steps back to the back of the mat, runner's lunge. Left knee drops down, untuck your toes. Make sure the right knee is just above the right ankle. Left hand down on the mat under your shoulder, right arm high, or right hand to your low back. We inhale, heart forward. We exhale to twist. What's going on with all four corners of your right foot? What about the top of your left foot, your back foot? We're going to rise up into that east-west twist. One arm forward, one arm back. Cup the right hip with both hands and drop your chin. Now I bet you can feel your hip flexors and your quads. We'll come forward to take a half split. So the hands will frame your front foot. Maybe your hands help that foot extend. The toes peel up. Remember, this is about the heart reaching forward, not about the head touching the shin. If you want to stretch the spine, bring the hips back and parallel, and find maybe a fold with the hamstring opening. The sole of the foot comes to the mat. We bring both hands inside the right foot and tuck the back foot under. Lengthen the back leg and spin to the long edge of your mat. Toes slightly in, heels slightly out. Find your fold. Walk your hands forward off the side of the mat. Rise to the tiptoes. Press into the mat and see if you can sort of fold your chest more toward your thighs. Bring your heels down. Keep that pressure. Walk your hands all the way outside your left foot. Walk your hands to the center and then outside the right foot. Walk your hands to the center, bring your heels in. Maybe your feet come a little closer. And we'll find our temple goddess, working to keep the pelvis forward, the shoulders over the hips, the knees bent. Rise up. 5-pointed star, come back down, temple. Rise up, 5-pointed star, come back down, temple. One more time, we rise up, pressing into the glutes and the mat, checking all four corners of the feet, back into temple. Left heel up, sink down, stay down, bring the left heel down. Right heel up, sink down, bring the right heel down, stay down. Stay low, swing low. Both heels up if you can manage it. Deepen. Stay low, bring the heels down. And we stay for 3, 2, and 1. Both arms up, toes point straight forward, arms in a T. We'll take a warrior 2 for a moment, pointing the right toes forward. Back foot is parallel to the back of the mat, and then we bend into our front knee. Press into the outer edge of that left foot. Flip your front hand, pause. Consider your dedication. And reverse, keeping that sweet, juicy bend in your front knee. Arms straighten, hands come to your hips. Right leg straightens. Pivot on the heel so the right toes face the side of the mat. Pivot on your left heel to come into warrior two the other way. Left hand flips reverse. Warrior two. Hands to your hips, left leg extends. Pivot on your left foot to bring it pointing the side of the mat. Heel toe your feet closer together. Point your right toes forward and step the left foot up to meet the right. Now find our way back into mountain pose, but this time with our feet as they would typically be in the traditional bony hip stance. Hands by your sides, palms face forward. And now consider your favorite mountain, or perhaps it's a special mountain you can make up in your mind, in your favorite season. Feel the connection with the earth, sturdy, steady, yet flexible, tall, strong, and with whatever features represent your favorite season. The colors of autumn, the greens of spring, the multiples of summer, the whites and grays and blacks, with a few pine needles in between, of winter. Sweep your arms high overhead, soften your knees, forward fold, a halfway lift. Forward fold, right foot way to the back of the mat, runner's lunge. Set yourself up. Drop your back knee down, untuck your toes. We'll take our twist. Rise up, east-west twist, not that easy. Hands cup your left hip and the chin drops. Feet are used to steady you. Pelvis forward, belly in and up. We come forward, take our half split. We're going to find our way into a seat. Take your time, doesn't matter what form you follow, what flow. Janu Shirshasana, the sole of the right foot inside the left thigh. We sit up super tall and then walk the hands down the outside of the leg, reaching the heart past the front of your mat. On an exhale, rise up, take that to the other side. Rise up, soles of the feet draw together. Baddha Konasana. We're going to sit upright on this, or you may take a back bend. The whole idea here is to utilize levers. Could be your elbows, could be the back bend itself, to send the knees away and down. To move into pigeon, Take your left foot outside of your mat and move your right foot a little closer to that edge. The right shin is parallel to the front of your mat. Once you get into pigeon, it might not stay that way, and that's okay. Shift onto your right shin, swing your left leg around, extend it using your toes so the leg comes straight out of your hip. Maybe you take a little back bend, maybe you don't. Maybe you grab a prop for underneath your right glutes. Head should rest on something. And we breathe, and you're welcome to move and stretch a little bit more as you soften into the posture, pigeon posture. Hands walk under the shoulders, shift onto your right hip. Swing your left leg around. Let it come parallel to the front of your mat. We shift onto the left hip and the left shin. Not that graceful, but whatever, we get there. And then send that right leg back. For me, my left shin really doesn't go parallel, but we let that go. We don't worry about it. The body will still move into pigeon. It will still stretch. It will still find softness. You'll still release some emotion, some tightness, and you'll still have the opportunity to dedicate the practice and the merit of this practice out to someone who needs it, whether they know it or not. Roll onto that left hip, swing the right leg around one more time. We'll find actually it's like a Bakonasana, the soles of the feet together, but there's a nice big diamond inside your legs. We scoop the hands under the ankles or to the tops of the feet and reach the heart forward, find a fold. Elbows, once again, are your levers for bringing your knees away and down. Let's move into a brief Shavasana, coming up and finding your way all the way down to the mat, maybe with your knees bent. Maybe a hug of the knees into your chest. A little rock left and right. And then the body moves into its final relaxation posture. Shoulder blades toward your hips. Take a big, big breath in. Release it. And here we consider what motivates you to come to your mat. Come back to the Tonglen practice from the beginning and notice how helpful it was, or if you felt that it was unhelpful, that's okay too. Practice changes over time. Bring to mind a being or a group of beings for your dedication, for sending merit out. They might know they need it. They might not realize. It doesn't matter because they will benefit from it, as will you. One at a time, the knees come into the chest to roll onto one side and press yourself up to a seat. We've come full circle. And this time, we'll press the palms together at the heart. And from our own self, we will cleanse the negative emotions, the burdens, the worries. So we'll take a deep, deep breath in. Let them go. If you'd like to chant Om silently or out loud, feel free to join me. Another deep breath in. Thumb knuckles meet the center of your forehead. May you recognize all the kindness, all the self-care that you pursue brings merit to yourself and to others. Namaste. As always, it's a treasure to have our sharing of energy across the internet, the interwebs. And note that I am heading out for business next week, so there will be no Saturday class for 2 weeks. So the 1st of February and whatever the following Saturday is, there will not be any class, and I will see you the week following unless you come into the studio either next Friday or a week Sunday. So I don't know the dates in my head. I should have, but regardless, I hope you have a wonderful remainder of your day or evening. I am Karen. If you have a chance to donate to the studio, feel free. Otherwise, these classes are free, and I'll see you soon. Thank you. Bye.